Um, so um, th- we kind of found it. We were trying to do a little bit of research last night. Now, I haven't talked to any of these leads, but I've been watching a few videos. Um, Taco Joe, first responder, whatever his name, you want to call him. Um, he did an interview supposedly with one of the ladies that's um, a organizer for this, and she was talking about some stuff and everything else. Um, so far, from what I'm seeing here, did you text those to me, G Gib? Those links to my phone, not in the deal because I can't click on links in there. I was wanting to show something here because we were having a little discussion last night about this whole thing, and we're trying to get into the concept. Is this
How you doing?
convoy going to be paying for fuel? Because this whole thing about money and everything else. Um, I don't I don't care if people donate. What you do with your money is your business, okay? But I asked Marcus last night. We did a deal. We was on for about 11 hours, and so far some of the stuff is like this. I haven't seen whether or not they were going to pay for fuel. I think somebody there was something mentioned that they might pay for fuel, but my question was is this okay? Then if they're not paying for the fuel, because one of the things that Marcus said last night is that, well, technically, people should pay their own way, right? And in some way, I'm kind of agreeing on that and everything else. But the issue is here, um, you're talking about a lot of money in fuel. I mean, we've heard reports and it's been on the news, the Fox News and everything, 700,000 trucks, right? Well, that's one day at $400 per truck for fuel. That's $280 million for one day. Okay. And that lady, she tried to clear that up. Somebody took that out of context. But, we heard some of the same stories with the People's Convoy. Oh, we got 200 more trucks coming, you know, from another convoy coming in. Um, and this, this deal with the conflict with the money, and this is where this issue gets really bad. Okay. Um, we had a couple other little convoys that came in, and when you had to find your way if you weren't in the original convoy that came from California, okay, the People's Convoy, um, you had to come up with the money to meet us in Hagerstown. So, like one that came from Florida, there was another one came from another location, several different little convoys that joined in with the big convoy. And there was another one that was supposed to be kind of big um, and everything. Do you have that website, Sean? Can you text that to me too?
Just sent them both over to you, Tom.
Right. And I don't know if Juniper or well, here's another one, fireman, and I'm going to show this too. This Colonel guy, okay, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I've got a lot of questions about what's going on with this border right now. And because I just seen something very interesting. Somebody just went to the border, supposedly, shows where the gates are, then he drives half a mile down the road, and all those gates are open. So it's like, and there's nothing going on. We're getting all this hype and all this bullshit about a civil war. If you go on Twitter and you look up hashtag civil war at the border, trucks going down the border, people are going down the border. Um, and I've already seen a couple of the other streamers that was from the convoy making comments that they talked to the people at the deal. And anybody that's from this new convoy, if you are a um, if you are a organizer and you want to reach out to me, um, you know, my email is gwt with 5 3s at gmail.com. Okay. gwt with 5 3s at gmail.com, because I got information on some individuals that you need to watch out for if they're coming into your convoy. Okay. Because you really need to watch out for these people. Our convoy, we had a lot of instigators. Um, we had a lot of instigators and everything else in this deal. Um, if you go do your research, Newsweek articles, look up the People's Convoy before it left um, Alianto, California. And if you actually go do a Google search on a lot of the People's Convoy and go start through, there's a lot of bad articles. There's a lot of bullshit articles. And why not just name them? Name who?
The people to watch out for.
Well, even in that video there, I'm gonna be honest with you. In that video that got taken, that first responder did, where he supposedly caught that terrorist coming across the border, that everybody's saying it's this one guy. Well, that's kind of been debunked, because the guy that everybody's saying that is still in his country and he can't leave his country. So technically, we don't really know who this guy is that came across the border, that everybody's spreading false information about this guy. And I'll be honest with you, I was fooled too, because it does look like this guy, but the information's coming out that's not him. So um, this viral thing that went around, and this is one of the issues, because you know how things go viral. Um, the the whole thing, everything goes viral when people take things out of context. And like I said, I've seen stuff on I've seen stuff on Twitter. I've seen stuff all over um, TikTok talking this stuff. Everybody's gearing up to go to the border. Heard, seen people talking about taking their guns, trying thinking that there's literally this armed standoff going on at the border between the feds and the federal government, or the National Guard. Okay. Um, Hey, Juniper, can you text me that link to that Colonel guy, or whatever his name's page is, and that Give Send Go that he's got set up on the side as well? Because these are some things that's questioned. Because I asked Marcus last night, I said, so are they going to be paying for the people's fuel that's going in it, helping the truckers with the fuel, people's fuel, or whatever that's joining into this? And when I was watching Taco Joe's video, I don't want to pull his up because I ain't going to promote him. If somebody wants to go over there, look at it, and get the link, go ahead. Go listen to what that lady's saying. They're selling sponsorship. If you give them $500 more, you can. They'll advertise. They'll put your logo on their website and everything else. Okay. So, and then the whole deal, they've got you discounts for certain hotels and everything else that you can get discounts. So it's kind of like if they're promoting their stuff to get you in their hotels, they're probably getting kickbacks from this. Okay. And there's several things here that's got me concerned, even with some of these organizations that they're involved in. And I think this Colonel Pete, whatever his name is, he's linked up with Negative 48, okay, on his show, and done shows with him. We're looking at people blowing a whole bunch of shit out of proportion, you know? And yes, they say, I've watched a couple other streamers say, well, if you think you're coming down here with bad intentions and you're coming down here and you're gonna think that something's gonna happen, like that, you need to stay home. You know, I get that. Our convoy did the same thing. If you come in here ill intentioned, we're gonna ask you to leave. You're gonna be booted out. If you are here for the wrong intentions to cause problems and everything else, you're gonna be booted out. But guess what? Those individuals still showed up. All right. I mean, I see red flags all over this. Number one, it's being produced by, put out by Fox News. That deal, 700 trucks. We didn't get that. We didn't get that kind of coverage to start this convoy. And when um, anything, to be quite honest with you, that the media saying, more especially when they're putting out false information, 700 trucks or 700,000 trucks. Let me explain something. Pretty much the only trucks that you had get in our convoy, in the People's Convoy, was, and I wasn't an organizer. I was just volunteer, help security, mechanic stuff, help with like the organization stuff on the ground. That's it. Okay. But I walked the grounds till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I heard everything. I watched everything going on. And there was a lot of iffy stuff going on, more especially there till the end, that made us have doubts about sending the convoy into DC or allowing it to go into DC. Now, we never stopped them from going into DC, right? We didn't tell them they couldn't go into DC. Only thing that was said that day that was different, because we were planning on staying there another week, I think another week or two, and doing some stuff, and didn't have a problem with them going into DC. But when they did that statement, made that public statement, put on public notice, and these individuals knew what just happened. That's the reason why it went haywire, because they were under they had convinced the organizers, or Marcus, and I don't know who else was on the bus, but had convinced him that they were going into DC as the People's Convoy. Now, I will tell you this: every time we had that meeting in the mornings before they would go around the Beltway, right? In that announcement, so the convoy is not going into DC, right? The convoy is doing the Beltway, but anybody who wants to go into DC, you are free to go, but you're not representing the People's Convoy. More especially if you do something bullshit, right? Because we have to go back to the J6 deal, right? Pull back to the J6 deal. I'm going to play a clip here in a minute from Clay Higgins, okay, where he's talking to Tucker Carlson. I played this last night too. But you need to listen what the man says. There were over 200, and this is the guy's doing. He's been behind the doors. He's the one that, like one of the lead investigators on this whole deal about the setup. Okay, the entrapment of individuals on J6 with the feds. All right. And I've been watching all Clay Higgins stuff on this. Now, matter of fact, one of the guys right now I've been helping, that is actually suing, and I'll have to get that gifts and go that he's suing, and he's going to court to defend himself. He's got a gifts and go, and I'm trying to help this guy, because part of this entrapment. But he's suing Ray Epps. Okay, he's suing Ray Epps. So some of the advice I gave him is I sent him that video with what Clay Higgins said in that interview, because like his basis is he just went up there to deal, and when Ray Epps came up to him, because this is a Marine, okay, this is one of my fellow brothers in arms. Both of us are vets. He's a vet, and he said, it just felt like God told him to be up there in the front. He was up there in the front, but he wasn't up there for nothing nefarious. He's just up there because he felt like he had to be there. Then Ray Epps come up to him because he was wearing, his Marines hat or something like that. And Ray Epps come up to him and said, Semper Fi, Semper Delis, what is it, Fidelis, or whatever it is that the Marines say.
Semper Fi, Semper
I'm not a
Fidelis. Yeah.
Marine. I don't say all that Greek and Latin shit, right? So I was just Army. I was just a tanker. So the point is, he walked over there and he said, just what was it? Just something about just hold your ground here, or wait a few minutes and everything else, or something like that. And he just kind of looked at him kind of weird. And then about that time, as he walked away, that's when they broke through the barriers, and he basically got pushed by the crowd into the building. He had no intention to go in the building, and when he went in, and he said the whole thing was weird because it kind of looked like a movie set, right? He said like there was a movie going on or being filmed. And 1-1 Cav Abrams tanker here. Um, I was in the '90s. When I first got in, I started. I'm one of the old school boys. I was in the M60A3 tank. Hold on here just a second. John, the barbecue guy. Remember the barbecue guy that came out and brought us food down in Weatherford, Texas? Hello there, Nick. What's going on, John?
Oh, I won't bother you all night. Calls to make, but I didn't skip. They said you told Kenny you wasn't part of that. I didn't know. Is there another convoy actually going?
Yeah, and right at the moment, I'm not too sure about this one here. Because I told you some of the issues that happened
Yeah,
in that other one, and
yeah.
some of these same individuals, y'all, who's what I call them, are showing up to this one here as well,
Right.
and already infiltrating it. And like I said, I don't know. I'm not getting. Matter of fact, I'm doing a live right now on my YouTube channel. Um, do you still have that?
No, but I don't, man, I don't do hardly any kind of stuff. But
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of doing a live on that to kind of show a little information what's going on with this new one, and they're using a lot of stuff from the People's Convoy to try to promote this one here. Trying to link us, and we're trying to get away from it just in case something stupid happens. You know
well,
what I'm saying?
I think until we get different folks in Congress and new president, I think for the meantime, it's
Yeah.
it's not, business is terrible, economy's terrible. All my interest rates went through the roof January the 1st this year. But I got a $63 increase on my fucking Social Security. And we can't get that little bastard out of the White House quick enough. Who we're going to replace him with, I don't know. But
All right, buddy.
it's a mess. But hey, get back to your deal,
All
and
right.
I'll get out of your hair. Thank you for checking in with me.
Yes, sir. We
All right.
appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate you. Bye bye.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. That this gentleman here was one of the nice people. Drove all the way from Okema, Oklahoma, and with this barbecue pit down to Weatherford, Texas, when we was going back across when we was going to California, and he cooked a bunch of barbecue for us. Um, Very nice guy. Everything out of his pocket, And he was just texting me earlier and asked me what was going on. I tried to call him, let him know. You know, he was like, "Are you involved in this new convoy?" And I'm like, "Nope." you know, I mean, I'm running as far away from this thing as I can. I just want to, I just want, just like Marcus said, there's some red flags for me. And even with this whole thing with the Greg Abbott deal, because everybody knows that Greg Abbott is connected to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. Okay. This thing right here, and he's not even in Texas while all this bullshit's going on, right? So he's in India meeting with a bunch of companies that are AI companies and everything to bring their businesses into Texas. You know, and I posted stuff. Oh well, he's trying to bring business into Texas. Why isn't he? Why isn't he helping his fellow Texans build businesses instead of bringing another country's businesses into Texas? Right? Why are we? I mean, people don't want China businesses over here. Why are we bringing Indian business over here? Okay, to compete with American businesses. That to me is not right. Okay, and that's where he is right now. He's been in India, and I showed a bunch of that stuff. You can go look it. You can go look it up. It's all over Twitter. You just Greg Abbott Indian. Then start looking at those companies that he's he's dealing, and you can go look and you can see. Scroll down through their deal, and you can find WEF. They're all part of the World Economic Forum. Okay, and that's one of these big questions I keep having in my head about why is he using Texas taxpayer money to um, why is he using taxpayer money to ship these people to these blue states? And everybody thinks that's all funny and everything, right? And supposedly everybody's getting all upset about it and everything else. I mean, the point is here that he's sending them to the sanctuary cities where they're protected. Okay. Texas is paying for these individuals to infiltrate our country. He's sending them to the interior of our country, where some of them are going into the military right now. The Navy's already dropped the requirement for the GED and the high school diploma. That should tell you something. Um, right. Somebody said be all right if they bring in jobs and stuff like that without all the WEF crap. Charles Schwab, and you'll be happy and on nothing. So, what do you want to add anything to this here?
Yeah, actually, quite a bit. Um, so like you said, he's shipping all these illegals into the sanctuary cities. Okay, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a sanctuary city. I don't care what kind of law they try to pass. All right, but not only is it hurting the taxpayer dollar out of Texas, it's also hurting the families that live in these cities, like Chicago, LA. LA is one of them. There's a couple in Nevada, New York. All these cities are being impacted by these people. As far as now, their kids are being brought out of the schools, not getting the education that they deserve and need, and uh, a lot of these parents are now having to quit their jobs because of all of it. Okay, so it's not only just a fiscal impact, but it's also a lifestyle impact for every American citizen that lives in these cities. So, um, it's it's one of those things where you got people getting upset not only at the border or anywhere else in the country, but now you have them getting upset and starting fights and everything else at their city councils because of it all. And that's just not fair to anybody. Not us, not them, not anybody. And no telling what these people are actually going to be doing because I've been seeing videos passed around on YouTube and Facebook and X where um, there's a couple of English people saying that, well, I'm a taxi driver and I got this person in my car. They said that they're from the WEF or the UN or whatever, and they've got unlimited funds and a cell phone that can't be tracked. They're getting shipments of weapons, body armor, you name it. They're getting it, and it's free. It's all paid by these corrupt individuals. At this point, it's just fair to say that our infrastructure, not just here in the US, but across the entire world, is now compromised. And they need to hear our voices. And that's the first
Well,
step. They need to hear us.
well, here's another thing too. I know that for a fact, the left wants us to start a civil war.
Right.
They want to get that conflict. And I said this last night. It's like that woman and those two children that was all over media that the National Guard wouldn't let Border Patrol in there to save those two children and that woman. That was all bullshit, right? Like I told y'all last night, um, that the river splits it. So right in the middle of the river, right, is the border, technically. Okay, the border patrol can stay on that one side of the river, and I'm telling you right now, the way it works is those women and their children could have been right there on the other side of that border, that line, and the border patrol would not have saved them because they can't cross the border. Now, us as human beings, we would have jumped in there and everything else and probably saved them people, them children, and everything else. But the Border Patrol cannot because it's illegal for them to cross the border. They were found on the other side of the Mexico border, and from the reports of it, um, they didn't notify Border Patrol till an hour after it had actually happened. My feed dropped. Which feed? Which feed?
Over on X.
Are you sure? I see it.
That's what Juniper just said.
I see the feed. No, it's there. I'm watching myself scroll up and down right now. Y'all not see that? You see
I'm
right
not on
there?
X, so.
Well, no, I'm talking about. I got it pulled up on the screen right there.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I want to play this one clip here, and probably a lot of y'all's already seen this. Okay, I'm gonna hop here. Uh, this guy right here.
Sucks when you have to change your flint and your Zippo.
Are y'all not seeing that?
Seeing
Uh-oh.
what?
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here. I thought I was playing because I couldn't get on the deal. Hold on here. My bad. I screwed it up. I was playing something. Technical difficulties.
Juniper just said it's back up now.
It must have been on your end because I've seen it on my end. Um, my bad. All right, here it is. Let's see if we can pull that up. There we go. Hit play.
What? Half a mile.
What's going on, guys? I know y'all come to my page because of the comedy and I just play around on here. And I don't get political very often. Sometimes I have some things to say about things. I live in Texas. I was just in Eagle Pass and I've got some videos I need to show you guys. Because you're watching the news, whether it's CNN or Fox, you're letting these news media idiots get you riled up against each other. Let me show you some videos that might just calm your ass down and make you turn off the TV. Watch this. All right, so this is the wall, you know, the fence that we put up. And they put up a secondary fence because they opened the gates. There's some armed guards with some pretty serious weaponry. You know, pretty intimidating, right? Here's your razor wire in between the two bridges that are in the entrances into Mexico and also the entrances to Eagle Pass. There's some Hummers, some more guys, right? We're protecting, you know, we're keeping them out. This is 0.5 miles from that area. 0.5 miles from where they set up their cameras. 0.5 miles from where they have all the people there. And it's right down the road. I left this long to show you just how short of a drive it is for us to get to a point where all that we just saw does not matter and they're just getting you riled up against each other because it's election time. And right about here is where you're going to see it. What's that? Where are the armed guards? Where are the AR-15s? Where is the razor wire? Where's the gates? That's half a mile from where the media is blowing up that Texas versus the feds, that we're having this big battle. So that was one gate. That was the very first gate that I saw. We drove down a little bit more. There's one. It had a chain on it. So you keep driving down the road. You got Trump's wall doing its job. This one has never even had a gate. So to me, it doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, libertarian. It doesn't matter what you are. And you're posting about this Texas versus the feds and we could have a civil war. I'm telling you right now, if a civil war breaks out, it's not because there's something good to fight over. It's because it's election time. It is because the news media is corrupt and you need to turn the TV off. I don't care what news media you watch. Just go down there and look yourself. Go look. The things that they are saying that the feds and Texas are fighting about is a stretch that is not even a mile. How long is the border? They can just walk right over, and those gates keep going and going and going and going. I know you're thinking, well, just two gates. No, they're all open. Open all the gates. It's a whole hoopla over This little bitty section in Eagle Pass, in between a bridge and a bridge, only place that there's guards. So if you can't get in half a mile of our border, you just walk down the road and you go across the border there. All you folks posting about this, you picked a side and you think you're doing the right thing. But all of you need to reevaluate the country you live in and the information that's being given to you. Because I wanted to be on the Republican, I wanted to push on the Republican side. Hell, I'm from Texas. I'm in the middle no matter what usually, but I wanted to lean towards that side. And once I got down there, I was like, nope, I don't know. Believe what you want to believe, but I recorded those videos. No one sent me that. I don't know what else to tell you guys, but turn the TV off.
We got us an individual in here who wants to talk bad. Look, whatever happened um, Dominic, Big D is nothing but a grifter, and I I don't care what you got to say. All right. Oh, we're the trolls? Well, I'm kind of being a little troll in that right now because a lot of the individuals that infiltrated your convoy in the first place to come in there and cause shit and mess the whole thing up literally did it, right? So you weren't there on the ground to see what was going on, buddy. So you can take your bullshit and go somewhere else with it. My whole point is, as far as helping out with the security, to make sure we didn't have another January 6th event. So, anyways, um, thing is here, I mean, if we actually got real people, not these people out there trying to get money and stuff like that, for views and stuff, none of this stuff is monetized here. Um, None of this stuff here is monetized. I'm not getting any money for what I'm doing here. This is about still, um, well, you can tell them. It's like I was trying to explain last night. You know what an instigator is, right? An instigator. It's those individuals that are out there streaming and they're right there to get all the drama and everything else, and they're getting in people's faces, calling them names. Um, all this stuff, right? And as far as this stuff, how much money did Marcus still? Y'all need to take that stuff up with Marcus. I'm not, I don't know what Marcus' bank account is or what happened with Marcus. I don't believe he stole anything. All right. So my point is here that, like I was saying earlier, the whole thing with Clay Higgins, where he said there was over 200 feds in the January 6th thing, right? Well, he also said a month before the months leading up to January 6th, when it was announced and everything about that, that all these feds, because he's seen all the information, he's seen all the stuff behind the closed doors and the meetings and everything else. And he basically said that feds were in all the social media deal and all the all the chat rooms and everything else, and they were already planting the seeds to have people there on the deal up there at the Capitol that day, right? They were already recruiting people and everything else to be up there, and they entrapped these people, and that's what he's investigating is the entrapment side by the feds, and that's kind of why we are kind of making this video right now because people are sharing false information all over TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, clips of the People's Convoy saying this convoy is going to the border right now. This convoy that's happening, I hope it's legit. But all I'm trying to say is you need to look at some of the people that are showing up. Because even with that interview earlier with Taco Joe or first responder, that whole deal, she sat there and said, well, I don't know anybody from the People's Convoy. I don't know any of the organizers or anybody from the People's Convoy. Well, guess what? First responder was in the People's Convoy. Okay? The individual she's talking to, she knows he's from the People's Convoy. And some of the things, and I'll be honest with y'all, last night, Dominic and Ninja Pig, I kind of put Marcus on the spot on a few things. I did a live last night for almost 11 hours, and he was on here for a couple hours. And my outlook was this: I kind of hit him on the money as well. Okay, because a lot of the trolls out there and everything are saying I got paid. I even I even I even had him clarify last night. Did I make any money from the convoy? Did y'all pay me for anything that I volunteered for? No. And because I'd heard as well, yeah, he's a grifter. Okay. He's an antagonizing grifter, is all he is. I seen what he did with that little clip with the person coming across the border that everybody's saying is this terrorist, and went viral everybody everywhere. And I've also seen that that's been debunked because the guy came out to defend himself. Good night, Jules. Um, he came out to defend himself because he's still in his country. He can't leave his country. All right. The other one is shit, what's the damn name? Oreo Express. I've went back and did my research on Oreo. I seen him get in a little Chinese girl's face that was wearing a mask, screaming and yelling in her face, slobbering all over him, even down to the standpoint he freaking blew snot or something on his jeans. First responder media is not part of TPC. He was media. He's not a reporter. He is one of these individuals that runs around and chases on his damn police scanner, kind of like one of the little tyrant hunters to go catch shit on his thing, on his deal to basically go after cops and stuff like that. He has media creds. Okay, I can make some stuff. I can print out some media creds myself. So, anyways, I was there the day and watched him. I watched him when he was in DC. Somebody said to me, stuff when he was in DC and he get cops' faces. You know what I'm saying? And he's got his camera up there. I've watched him instigate. I've watched Oreo Express instigate. I watched somebody sent me a clipped up thing where he was down filming these people down in this hill sitting up against this building and he was talking shit. And then this one guy come up, got in his face, and then he said there, you ain't gonna do nothing, you're not gonna do anything. These are not reporters. They're out there to take y'all's money. Okay. This is all they do. They're not reporting no real news. I've watched actual individuals that go and they say, "Wait, where are you from? You know, where are you from? Where are you going? How'd you get here? Who helped you?" You know, questions like that. I can show you videos of people who really do the job good. I've heard first responder. Like when I got back in the convoy in Billings, I said this last night. We were having a meeting, and this was when it was decided. And we were told that the People's Convoy was going into D.C. I've watched, I watched him stand over there, and he was like, "Well, if we get down there and something happens, and Antifa shows up, or Black Lives Matter, or somebody, we get some conflict going on, we'll get more viewers and more support." Yeah, but I've seen him like that guy come across the border, calling that guy entitled. Oh, you're so entitled, riling the guy up. That's instigation. We're not patriots. Yeah, we're patriots. I'm trying to watch people's backs here. I'm not saying that everybody in this, I'm trying to warn people if you go, watch who you're with. We're not a bunch of jealous losers. I tell you right now. See here. Well, here's another thing with a lot of this stuff that we keep on seeing as well, that people keep on sharing back and forth. Um, that they keep showing the same clips of individuals running down the fence and everything else. And it's over and over and over again. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if this guy is a terrorist, I'm glad he caught the guy. But there's no sense in trying to antagonize somebody. Get your information and go on. Stop trying to get reactions out of people. Get honest reporting. Okay? Honest reporting. I'll give you a little, all y'all defending Taco Joe and everything else. I'll give you a little. I'll give you a little clue to this. Most of the time during the convoy, while everybody else were having to sleep in their trucks and everything else, all the money that they were getting, and that's and that is their business and everything else, but they were going to hotels. They were going to hotels, and they were staying in nice hotels and smoking cigars and sitting around having their little quick deals and everything else. I mean, why? Why do we have people that this is all they do? So, anyways, I wanted to show a few other things here. Let's see what we can find. So,
It's 20 miles. Let's go. Let's go. Just 20 miles away. Let's go.
I don't know. Did we lose that one? We saw that one. Sorry. So this is what
I'm
we're.
doing all right, Brenda. I appreciate the comment
Who
there.
gave that right to me, and I'd gladly stand up next to you in the paper still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this.
People are sharing clips like that, saying that's the convoy. We've got people sharing stuff that are saying that sharing stuff saying that the um, farmers and the showing videos of farmers and everything else and trucks and everything from Germany and France saying these individuals are at the Texas border. No, I'm not saying if you want to donate to people, that is fine. I'm not saying that. But what I'm touching on is some things here is the concept that I ain't telling nobody to go not get in this convoy. If that is what you want to do, you do you. It's kind of like Marcus says, just please watch who you're with. There are feds infiltrating everything, CIs and everything else. I mean, literally, every one of those individuals that day that was in the convoy, what? Uh, I'm not worried about that. Um, everybody that was in that, everybody that was that day that we read the statement, nobody said nobody could go into DC. Nobody said nobody could go into DC. What was said, if you go into DC, you're not representing the people's convoy. And what y'all don't understand about this is if somebody goes in and does something foolish, right? Everybody's connected to it. If there is another J6 2.0 type thing, like it was being called out for in Newsweek before it left California and everything. The way they were painting a narrative on this deal and us being linked to um, a left wing extremist group, the Proud Boys, and everything else, and they're part of the organization of it, who has been declared a terrorist organization in Canada, okay, then everybody goes down. Do you understand? Even you individuals that were supporting and donating to anybody connected to the convoy, they're still going out and arresting people right now, currently, that were from J6. And my red flag is this, that we had people from J6 in that convoy. Well, what we know that was involved in J6? Facts from Clay Higgins, feds, right? So these individuals are not in jail. They're not, are they CIs, confidential informants? Are they there for a reason? Are they part of the individuals that caused people to be entrapped that day? Okay. Are they with us to do the same thing? And I'm telling you right now, there were a few other little military guys there too, from different branches of the military, that we sat around, we had a little discussion about that, and we all had our spidey senses was going off real bad about everything, the way everything was looking at that time. And the best thing I can do, and a few other people that had conversation about this, was to go to the organizers and say, who put Santa in charge? Nobody. We just asked him to speak. Well, why is he walking around here acting like a lead and telling people what to do and this and that and everything else? Why did they go buy all these big pepper spray cans and guns that look like, the pepper guns and everything else? Why are they taking this stuff into DC? What is going on here? What is the intention of this, right? Because if they're intending something, because we're sitting there being told there's no exit strategy. We don't have an exit strategy. Well, what do you mean you don't have an exit strategy if we go in there? Sounds more like this is a trap, you know? I mean, what do you think about what I'm saying here? You were kind of following along, and I talked to you a lot about stuff.
Right. Um, I'm sorry, I'm reading all these comments here, and it's just funny that people are assuming stuff. um, the uh, the whole point is here, and if people haven't grasped this concept yet, okay, and I do want to say one thing before I go on. We're not name calling. Okay, we're here to
No,
give you guys information. If it's gonna continue to be like this, then you can just move on, go do you. Okay, no more
no.
name calling, no more bad words. Okay, this is not what this is here for. Okay, um, but what we have going on with this whole border issue is, and it's not the fact that, well, they're sending them here, there, or which way. Okay, it's the fact that this is a part of a plan. It is a setup. Okay, we saw it with J6. We saw what they did there. Uh, it's they don't change their tactics at all. Whichever way you want to look at that. Okay, it's the facts. You've seen it once. They're going to continue to do it because now they have. Oh well, all these people, hundreds of thousands of people, are seeing it and they believe it. Oh well, why don't we just continue with the same plan that we've always been doing? Okay. As far as Greg Abbott goes, with the border and the National Guard that's down there, okay, they do have troops, but however, you have to understand one thing, okay? Governors, senators, etc., that are not as high up in the chain of command here, okay? And this is what it boils down to. And anybody who is in this chat that is military can vouch for this. And please speak up. There is a chain of command. Okay, so yes, the governor can say X, Y, and Z. Okay, but here again, Abbott's not even in country; he's in another place. Okay. Um. Second of all, we have a lieutenant governor now taking control over Texas and trying to fix the issue. So now we have, well, if they deploy troops down there and do what they needed to do and don't get interfered with everybody else trying to go down there, aka YouTubers, live streamers, whatever the hell you want to call them, it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, because you are and will get in the way of what they need to do. Okay. But here's the problem. Chain of command, right? So chain of command says, hey, the governor has the right to deploy National Guard troops wherever he sees fit, right? To be uh to protect his own borders in his own state. Well, here's the thing. President, okay, using air quotations here, because still don't accept Biden as the real president. If he won correctly and truthfully, then yeah, sure, okay, whatever. But the problem is here is now we have a so-called president, and he can say, well, you know what? I don't want the National Guard there, and he can recall them and get in the way of their jobs. Okay, that's what we're looking at here. And all this proof here that we see with our gates wide open, why the hell are they open in the first place? They shouldn't even be open. Okay, there should be gate guards there to properly put people through the process. Okay, checking passports, checking IDs, background checks, doing luggage checks for any guns, drugs, weapons of any kind. But we don't have that right now. So this is where we are having the issue. It's not an issue about whether or not we should go down there and just report it, or we should go down there and see it for ourselves. It's the fact that now this is becoming a military operation. Stay away from it. Protect yourselves at home. Prepare yourselves, okay, for whatever might happen, and then watch what the military does about it. You have to have trust in the military to know what they have to do their job right.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. What a lot of y'all don't understand is us as military, we get training. We do a lot of guard duty. We do a lot of stuff. And I've done security over the years and in different things, right? A whole lot of various different things. I mean, I owned a locksmith's business at one time, and I had to read people, you know. I just don't sit here and jump off the gun and everything else. But there was a lot of stuff. You remember when the cameras are not there, y'all didn't see most of what was going on. Okay. Y'all didn't see everything that was going on if you weren't on the ground there. And every one of the people that that I know knows that I was to the front and the back and all over, helping doing this, helping doing that, putting out this fire, putting out this fire. We had the individuals walking around, starting the whole deal. The the organizers are stealing the money, and this is their all this stuff, right? All these individuals starting all these rumors and everything else. Okay, this is the reason why, like when it came down to the whole security deal, I didn't want any civilians that didn't have training to be in security, right? We needed people on the gate to kind of protect the whole down everybody there, right? People sleeping in their tents. We didn't want somebody coming in and attacking people. Um, Kara, stop with that. If you think they did, go talk to them about it. Don't come over here with it, right? You don't have any proof of that. All right. Now, the point is here, the point is here that you need people who can de-escalate, right? You need people who can calm a situation down when there's a conflict, and there was a lot of bickering. You had a lot of infighting, and you had a lot of bidding for position, and like when these other little convoys come in, well, hell, they all expected that they were supposed to have control of the money that the TPC was had collected coming across from California, right? And they had raised money. They were raising money too. There was other individuals out there claiming to be TPC, right? This is something that Marcus went over last night. That people, there was one guy set up a website, a fake website, and all he did is change this stuff a little bit. Even Marcus said this last night. Make sure the people you are donating to, if you're going to this thing, he's trying to put this out here to warn people. If you want to donate to this, go donate to it. But make sure, what is the money going for? Are they going to be helping these guys pay for their fuel if they're going? Why are you raising the money for? Right? Bye, Kara. Bye bye. Anyways, we're not going to have that kind of stuff in here. I'm not going to put up with it. Anyways, because I'm trying to get a message out here that I don't know who these other people are, and I'm not going to say they're bad. But I already see that some of these supposed organizers and everything of this is already talking about they were there at January 6th as well. Okay. Um, hold on here. Are you coming in? Hold on here.
But
What's
I
up, Miss
appreciate that
Texas?
some of these supposed organizers.
What's up, Miss Texas?
I'm a little irritated tonight. You know, because I mean, past 2 days, we've been focusing on really pointing out of who these people really are that are doing this convoy. Okay,
Right.
they're all grifters. They're all pieces of shit. Excuse my language tonight, because I'm a little freaking irritated over this whole situation. And then we have people like Kara coming into the chat saying that TPC stole money. Well, let's go back and look who was actually in charge of the money. Right, Tom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of,
And who wound up in being in charge of the money when they went over to the other side too? And here's the thing. Here's the point. As part of the security deal, I watched her have meetings with certain individuals that were not part of the organizers, right? Um, and I'm not going to say her name, but I'm just going to lay this out here because that pretty much knows who was kind of. I'll just kind of put this. She worked at the information desk, okay, the information tent and everything else. There were several people that reported her taking money out of donation boxes and putting it into her backpack, right? There were several individuals that went to the bus. She was confronted about it, but they couldn't prove it. Okay. These individuals are the same individuals that hijacked the convoy at the end. All right. They took, let me tell you something. I found somebody to bring in a couple pallets of death. They donated one. We had to buy two of the pallets of death. Okay. The death, those 2.5 gallon buckets of death that trucks needed in case we did get locked down somewhere. If something did happen and the trucks had to idle, we could put that death in there so their trucks wouldn't get damaged. Okay. I had somebody, they brought it, these beautiful people brought it all the way from Indiana. All that death wound up on Big D's trailer. Okay. A lot, thousands upon thousands of dollars that stuff that was donated was donated was donated by you good people, okay, and the people that were helping the convoy were taken that were donated to the people's convoy, and the people's convoy's name were on Big D's trailer, okay. And I'm going to tell you that was set up by special design, okay. There was a reason for that. And this individual was taking donations and stuff before in the People's Convoy's name before the convoy got to DC. People were sending stuff to her house, to her cabin, and she was taking in stuff there. I don't know if this convoy's happening or not. I don't know how many people. All I see is a big lie of 700,000 trucks are going to be in it, and I don't know how that's going to happen. Like I said earlier, do you know the logistics of this? That 700,000 trucks at $400 for one day for fuel, okay? 300, 400. But we're just using a number 400. That's $280 million. $280 million. And I asked Marcus last night, I said, well, they have a give, send, go set up. And he said, well, no, they're supposed to just have a trust set up. I never heard anything about it. No, on their website, they've got a give, send, go. They've got about $69,000 that they've raised, which is fine. And I asked Marcus, did you ask them if they're going to use that money for the fuel for the trucks? What are they, what are they going to do? They going to do like y'all did, pay for the fuel for people in the convoy? If you participate in a convoy? And he's like, well, I don't know. And then he kind of went into this thing. Well, I think that people need to pay for, if you're going to be in the convoy, you need to pay for your own way and all this other stuff. And this is where he's at with this now. And I was like, I kind of was back. And I was like, so then why are they taking donations? I'm the same way. I'm the same way as y'all right now on this deal. Okay. Because I'm hoping they're going to take donations, right? But they're actually selling sponsorship where you can put your logo. If you give them $500, that lady said that on Taco Joe's deal today on first responders thing. Oh yeah, if you want to, we donate $500. We'll put your logo and everything else on our website, right? And here's another thing: this Dr. Pete guy, right? If you click on, I think y'all said Texas, if you click on his name, right, on that website, you go to his bio or some kind of deal, and he's got a give, send, go. And this is the question. This is the question. He was on the interview with Tucker Carlson talking about he's going to be at his home. He's one of the advisors or something. He's going to be at his home advising, right? Not in the convoy, but at his home, and he's already raised $67,000 on Give Send Go. Okay, why is it in his personal name? Why? And my other question is, here's supposedly he's kind of connected to Greg Gabbett and all this other stuff, through these other programs that he said he was in and everything else. All I'm saying, please, just do your due diligence, because here's a reality right now. Okay. I don't believe after this last convoy, that there's going to be that many trucks in it at all. More especially after this. Well, here's the other thing. Let me explain another fact. Marcus made a comment last night that people would come up to him and say, hey, did you get this money that I gave to so and so, that said they were an organizer or claimed to be an organizer? Okay. And you had individuals that were out there pretending to be organizers, and people came in to the convoy and gave them cash and stuff like that. And then later on, they'd send an email to Marcus, hey, did you get the money that we gave you? Well, what money? Well, I gave it to so and so. I don't know who that is. We had people pretending to be organizers. I'm telling you right now, oh my God, my first fucking night. You know this, Sean, because I think you were on the phone with me. My first couple of nights there, I had about 50 different people come up and said they were security. We had paid security and we had the trucker security, right? This is what we had. And it was just, I'm like, you're security. Who are you with? Who are you with? And just different stuff. It was like freaking confusing because, and I went to Brian, I was like, man, who the hell is all security? Because the reality of it is, something went down and I see two guys rolling on the ground. I want to make sure I'm rolling up the right guy if I have to roll somebody up, you know? if it's a security guy, if something happens bad, and hopefully we didn't have to roll anybody up, but I wanted to make sure if I seen some guy taking somebody down, if something happened, we had a circumstance. Well, I kind of need to know who security is, right? Isn't that right, Sean? I mean, if you're out there in a situation, you need to know who everybody is on your team, right?
Absolutely.
This whole thing when we first got down there, it was like a shit sandwich squeezed in between a six shit sandwich, and all I was trying to do was try to kind of deturtify everything. You know,
And
we're
I can
not telling
testify to
nobody.
most of this too,
I'm not
so.
trying to speak out bad about any of this, but because I don't know this Colonel Pete Chambers, if he's a veteran and everything else, and if he's a good guy, this completely could be legit. But I didn't even find this last night. Juniper and Texas last night, they were looking at some stuff while I was online, and then they started sending me some stuff, and I'm sitting here going, well, why? He's kind of like this face of it, right? And there's videos with him talking to people. He's on Tucker and on another news deal and everything else. Um, I was sitting here talking to him, and they says, yeah, if you click on his picture and you go to his bio, he's got a gift send go too. And I was like, so Marcus kind of made this comment. And I'm not saying this is true or not. I don't know what they're going to do with the money, but that's what y'all need to find out. And hopefully they will give more information on this. Hopefully they're going to use it for this other stuff. But my outlook is this: what if nobody shows up? What's going to happen to the money? Why is this one individual that's kind of like the face of it right now? Why is he um, why does he have a give send go on his page? Is he promoting himself to get money too? I mean, if everybody else is required to come up with their own money to do this convoy and everything else, why are they taking donations in? And it shouldn't be about the money deal, but this is the questions, because this is where the whole thing's going to go with this one as well. I can already see it, right? So if these individuals are raising money and they're taking donations, are they going to use it for food? Are they going to help people with some of their lodging? Are they going to help the, everybody buy fuel? I mean, what are you taking the money in for? Or is it just another thing for these individuals to take advantage of people and a whole bunch of grifters to show up and everything else? I've told everybody my opinion. I've told everybody I'm not going to do it. Okay. Everybody can do what they want to. If you want to donate to it and everything else, I would, instead of giving it to the convoy, if there are truckers go in this deal or individuals that are nice, not antagonizers, they're giving you the real information without the drama. Okay. And y'all know kind of what I'm talking about. There's several of these individuals started streaming in the convoy that weren't media or anything, and all it was on their shit was drama, but people were feeding it, right? And this is one of the issues that I have today, because some of the stuff that's happening, and I made a comment last night as well, that we have kids running around. The knockout game, it's been around for a while, and people, they're going out because people are watching their shit, right? They are they're they think they're popular, and people are even people antagonizing through the chat to do bad things. Okay, And these people, to get this popularity, it's like a drug to them. They'll run up there and knock out an old lady or an old man or something like that. And I seen one here a while back that was on TikTok, and I think probably on Twitter, where this kid jumps out of the car. He's all laughing. He's some kind of like gang slang or whatever. Walks in through the door, and you see this guy come around the corner of like this shelf or whatever. And this kid, and he kind of, you see the guy bring his hands up, and you hear boom, boom, and the kid runs out laughing. Okay, this is the stuff that we are creating by sharing, and and these instigators that are going to these protest and everything else, getting in the front lines, in the face of the police with their camera up there, spitting and yelling, cussing at, and just to get that drama shot, right? To get that reaction. I hope here pretty soon we're gonna get to the point to where we don't have all these lawsuits anymore. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice if it wasn't this standpoint, because that's what they want. They want you to put your hands on that way they can sue you. Half these little fuckers need to be punched right in their mouth, laid smooth the hell out. That's my opinion. Go back to the way we used to do it in the old days.
Yeah, where
But
parents actually discipline their children.
Hey
right,
Tom, real quick
yes,
before
ma'am.
we go on to the next thing, can you drop the link for Operation Lone Star if people want to donate to the National Guard because they need help? They need volunteers to go help. We were talking about that last
Do
time.
you have it up here, or if you want to pull it up and we can show them what it is, I think you can drop it, can't you?
I can. Let me find it.
But like I said, like that video we showed earlier, they don't look like there's much going on there at that border. Okay, other than the open gates a couple miles down the road. What's really going on there? Can we really just get some people, real people, honest people to go and in that area that live down there or whatever to tell us what's really going on instead of all this hype and bullshit? Well, thank you for your children's service there, Mary.
Hey Tom, I'm going to pull your screen out and then I'm going to
Okay.
put mine in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take a second. Should be up. Yeah, it's up. So this is Operation Lone Star Border Support Mission. So they need volunteers, guys. If you have any military experience, if not, they do drug tests, all kinds of things. Here's the volunteer form. Fill it out, submit it to them, and they will get back to you.
I believe they will help you with lodging. Doesn't it say up there? They will help you with lodging, and I think there should be a $55 a day per diem.
Yep.
I mean, if people want to really go down there and get active in this, and you want to help stop this as well, uh, this is going to be the way to do it. The other way this is going to happen as well, okay? The other way this is going to happen is you need to get into your damn senators and your congressmen and everybody's faces in your states where you are. Okay? That's what this other convoy was supposed to be about, anyways, to get people, to educate people, to start contacting these individuals and getting rid of these people who are not doing their damn jobs, that are stealing our money, sending it to foreign countries, and everything else. I'm going to pull up something else here. I mean, but this is the way you get into this stuff. If you want to go help, if you want to help, if people want to go down there and volunteer, and I'm sure, I said this last night, I am sure that you call up down there, even if there is something that's wrong with you, right? If you might be a felon or whatever, okay? You might have a few things, but I'm pretty sure that there's some things you can go down there and volunteer for, whether it's doing laundry, whether it's uh, cooking meals, whether it's taking out the trash, or um, whatever they need help with, support, right? To go down and help with support with these guys. But the point is, go down there and ask the military. That was one of my biggest things last night. And they're saying they're not going to Eagle Pass directly, which good, because my outlook was whatever's going down there, nobody needs to go down there and get in the middle of what the feds and the border patrol's doing, that little thing. But now we're finding out that's not the case. This shit's being blown up as hype, and like literally people are sharing stuff. Their headlines are standoff between between the border patrol and the National Guard. It's a civil war. It is not a civil war. So what I have pulled up here on the screen right now is there's that image of that guy, right? There's the real guy to the right that everybody thinks is that terrorist guy. Okay? You can find this over on Twitter. Okay? Or X. I keep calling it Twitter. Ugh. But on X. This is not the guy. All right? Now, seeing something here earlier, profile. I thought I shared it. Hey, does anybody have that link on the deal here about the UN? I think that's one of them. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Ugh. Pull this.
Debit cards and envelopes of cash, right?
Yeah.
Do you know where that money's coming from? It's coming from the United States of America. Let me explain how all of us, America's taxpayers, are paying for those people to come across that razor wire. The New York Post has this story. It talks about how the United Nations has got this interagency platform for refugees and migrants from Venezuela. And they've got $1.6 billion to help people reach the U.S.-Mexican border. And so that razor wire slows them down. And so they don't like that. And so the United Nations, they've given all these people money to make it to the southern border. That's slowing them down. So what's Joe Biden doing? He's making it easier for them to come in. And here, Ainsley, is the important part. With the United Nations, we've talked about this for decades. Who's the biggest funder of the United Nations? The United States. Absolutely. We pay 22% of the UN budget. So keep in mind, we are financing a lot of those people. We're financing more than any other country on the globe, those people to come into this country illegally.
Your tax dollars. Why aren't we going to the border? Why aren't we pulling up in front of the United Nations building in New York City? Hell, that would save a lot of money right on this convoy if all the trucks and everything else went down in New York, right? What if all the trucks went down in New York and surrounded the United Nations building, where the people that are causing the problem is really at, right? Because the people who are doing this are in our government, not down there down there in the desert. They're at your state capitals. It's the people that you elected into Congress for your state. Okay? Why aren't you going to your state where these individuals are? Okay? I mean, nobody's going down there to the UN building. Why? Why? No, they want you. They want you focused on that 2.5 mile area right there, that little area where nothing's going on, and they're still coming across the border on either side of it. Okay, you're being tricked. You're being fooled. All right, it's look over here, not over here. What you got to say there, Mister Juniper?
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing today? Tonight, West Coast time's a little earlier, but it's a 11:30 on the East Coast almost. So, you guys out there in the Central Time Zone, what are you at? 10:30 now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the whole deal. That video we saw from that gentleman earlier. He half a mile from the double bridges, and guess what? Gates wide open. Fences missing right there. What good's a 2.5 mile area going to do? Those go every 10th of a mile for 500 miles, 568 miles. They're going to find any gap they can. They're being directed there by the UN. They plot the map out for them. You know, it's an active program through the White House. You know, this is all just a ploy to piss people off and get everybody at odds.
Good to see you, Andrew.
You know, they get everybody fighting. We need to be united, not fighting.
Right.
And this is the whole concept. You know, why aren't people trying to get us to go to the border? Why? Why? What is all this hype about us going to the border? What are we going to do?
Trap.
You're going to have the same thing again, the whole Woodstock deal going again, and your individuals drinking at night and smoking weed and doing all their bullshit again. You know, we had that in the last convoy, and those people were there for that reason. They weren't there as patriots. Oh yeah, they were patriots, all right. They were getting those donos and everything else to buy the beer with at night. Okay? And their alcohol and get shit faced. And I'd have to go make sure they wouldn't freeze to death in the night and carry them to their damn truck.
Or they didn't fall in the fire and get burned up. That happened too.
Truckers don't rule the world, control the world. Truckers, I mean, yeah, do we have some stroke and some and as far as, you know, where we can cause problems, yes. But the reality of it is, I agree to disagree with Marcus. I think a lot of things could have been done differently, you know, because like the whole state deal, I love that idea to set up the states and people go to your state capitals. Go, you know, what did Nancy? Can somebody find me that? Can somebody find me that link of Waters? Get in their faces, right? We're not getting in their faces. They do. They'll come. Since January 7th, how many times has these lefties and the Palestinian stuff and everything else shut down the Capitol building? How many of them are going to jail? And here's another little fun fact. Does anybody have that link for them shutting down the natural gas, the sanction that Biden's doing on all the federal land down there that they're in control of? shutting it down in Texas. Guess what? That's a World Economic Forum thing, right? And that's what he's saying is for the climate control. He's trying to blame it on that. What we got here?
Can I address one thing, GWT?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. This is for Tammy with about coming together for a big presence. Here's the thing about that, and I just touched on this a little bit. Okay, if there was a big presence at the border, okay, especially within the area that our National Guard is trying to operate in right now, all it would cause is one, a distraction for the National Guard from doing their job. Okay, it would stop them from trying to secure that border and help the Texas people actually do what they need to do. Okay, so you're not going to really do anything by having a big presence there. What's that just going to show? It's going to show that people are there. Well, okay,
people, you know.
but it doesn't say anything. Okay, what says something right now is letting the National Guard do their job.
Brand new word.
Let Texas Border Patrol do what they need to do if they are actually under the command of the lieutenant governor right now that is in Texas. Okay. And let it be. We don't need to cause any more problems as civilians to them and make everybody's life harder. This is what the administration wants, is the people to get involved and in the way so they have an excuse to do what they did like on January 6th. It's not going to do us any good. That's why we're here. We're trying to give you guys the information. This is the way we need to go about this. Not
And
just
like I
showing
said-
up and being big and bad.
Like I said last night, all these individuals are going to do. What'd you do to my thing? I was about to play that.
That wasn't me.
All right, Texas. Are you got control of it or do I?
We both do. I
We
think that's
both
my
do.
job.
Well, that's not fair. How do I get control
Oh.
now?
That's you, Tom.
That's me.
That's you.
All right, I'm gonna roll this beautiful bean footage.
If we can't protect the children, we can't protect anybody. If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome. The people are going to turn on them. They're going to protest. They're going to absolutely harass them until they decide that they're going to tell the president, no, I can't hang with you.
Not in D.C. Not in the U.S. Not in D.C. Not in the U.S. Not in D.C. Not in the U.S.
Our issue is strong borders, no crime. Their issue is open borders. Let MS-13 all over our country. That's what's going to happen if you listen to them.
All right. Did you have something you want to pull up, Texas?
I do. Tom, hang on, let me grab it.
But that's the whole point here, right? That's the Congress lady, the good Congress lady, Maxine Waters, giving instructions to everybody, okay? Everybody on how you need to do things. Okay? That's what they do. They go outside of people's houses and everything else in the middle of the night and protest and everything else, right? Maybe the next time the UN is having a meeting up there, everybody needs to bust into the UN and go and protest. How many times have you seen that? How many times have y'all seen anybody bust in to the UN? How many times do we have a WEF here in the United States? Huh?
Let me look.
I think there might be one building. It's either in California or New York, one or the other. No, I think there is Texas. I believe it is in New York City, next to the
Yes, there's a
UN.
World Economic Forum at 350 Madison Avenue, New York, New York.
Yep, New York City.
The
And it's right
elites
next to
are
the UN
causing the
building too, right?
problems, guys. Not me, not any of us. These people are working for the elites, okay? Or elites. I don't know where, I don't know how that term even got started that these people think they're above everybody else when they're just people with more money. That's all. All right? That's all they are. They're just people with more money. That's all. But we're out here, they're trying to start a civil war. Okay. They want a civil war so they can cancel the election. They can stop the election. And this whole border thing it just don't gel. It don't feel right. I really believe that all these elites and everything else, why y'all are supporting and giving your money to these trucks and people going down to the border and all this stuff, driving out in the middle of nowhere in the desert to go have a picnic at a couple places. We know what's going on at the border. Everybody knows what's going on at the border.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We don't need no more awareness of what's going on at the freaking border. We need to go where the people are causing the problem. And guess what? That's not even in DC. That's at the UN and the WEF. Am I correct, guys?
Yep.
Well,
I mean,
in
people
my
are getting
humble
in
opinion,
space
they already,
and everything else. This whole stuff is because of them.
yeah.
Exactly.
But we're also seeing how they're starting to falter. It's starting, the domino effect right here now is starting to crumble, and we're starting to see it, and it's everywhere. It's in our country, it's in the UK, it's all over the world that this is good. The domino effect is starting to happen with the WEF, the UN. Everybody's starting to see it. Hell, even in France and Switzerland, they're seeing it there. So it is starting to happen.
Absolutely. Like Joe Biden shutting down the natural gas.
Yeah.
Putting
This is a
sanctions.
WEF deal right here. This
Yep.
is WEF all over. This is your climate control, guys. This is your carbon footprint. That's what that's about. And this whole deal that's going on between Biden and Abbott is to do this.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, Tom. So remember when Biden first took office? Well, the resident, as we all call him, because he's not the president. He already said we're going to get rid of natural gas stoves. He already told you that in the very beginning when he got into office. So now what is he doing? We're going to shut down the natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, he's telling you their plan. He is showing you their plan of what they're going to do. Like the movie that's coming out here very quickly, Civil War. Boy, howdy. Everybody watches that movie because it's exactly what they're going to do. They make these movies. That is their plan. They are putting it out there.
Right. And even though these people are saying, if you got any nefarious, if you've got any nefarious stuff that you're thinking you're going to do down at the border, um, don't even think about it. Don't come to the convoy. Okay. Don't come to the They're going to come to the convoy. Okay. They're going to be in the convoy.
Hmm?
You should,
Absolutely.
Did, because it's kind of like this. Y'all remember how many people remember when that deal happened with Bandit, right? The guy that was a pedophile, right? I didn't jump the gun on that. Yeah, everybody's on, got me on Discord, was texting me and everything. I'm driving down the road, driving down the road. Tom, you need to get in Discord right now. You need to get in Discord. What? What's going on? What's going on? You know who Bandit is, right? Yeah, I know who he is. He's a pedophile. And what did I say to everybody? Right? What did
So,
I say to, huh?
so
I
you were
said,
told.
I go, can you prove this to me? You got some way you can prove this to me? And I started asking, okay, what's his name? And I get over here, right here on my tablet, right? I pulled over the side of the road, get on my tablet, and I basically hit the speech deal on my deal, Googled him, and boom, pulled up violently. I can't remember how old the child is, but it was young. I'm talking about, I can't remember, 4, 6, something like that. It was a very young child. Okay. Now, I wasn't taking everybody's word for anything, because guess what? The trolls went to, oh, we're already going to town on this, right? And linking this person to the convoy to make it look bad, right?
Huh?
There were no background checks ran on nobody. There were nobody looked at who anybody was. Hell, when I jumped in the convoy, I didn't know who Marcus was. I didn't know who Brian Browse. I didn't know any of the leads, right? Or the organizers. I jumped in and I just kind of paid attention who was who, and I knew the bus and everything else. And I'll be quite honest with you, I just kind of weaseled my way into it. Not weasel, but basically barged my way into it. Okay, because I'm putting my business on the line. I'm putting my wife's life on the line too out here. Okay, so I want to know what's going on, and that's the same thing with this convoy as well. I mean, we're not here for just a publicity stunt. We wanted to get something done.
Mhm.
My equipment is not their equipment. Okay, I pay the bills on this. I pay for everything, and I'm not going to be used. Okay, I don't want to be used just like any of you people over here, and I don't want to see anybody else get used for bullshit. And these people out here making up all this stuff. Let's go to the desert and go have a picnic. What that lady said too, wasn't it? We're gonna meet up here at this one place and we're gonna go have a picnic
Mhm.
on y'all's dime. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, the people giving to these other people that are running around here tonight, they're gonna be sitting back here drinking and getting drunk and uh, sex parties and jumping from truck to truck and all the stuff that was going on with that. Oh my God, there was a lot of that. The issue is here. This ain't. We're talking about real life. We're talking about real life events here, and it's going to affect people. We got a lot of bullshit, a lot of hype going down over there at that border, and I'm trying to wonder why is everybody wanting us to look over here? Maybe these guys that they got in the country and everything, they get a 700,000 trucks and patriots and everything else involved in this to go down here at the border where maybe these numbers we're hearing now closer to 22, maybe 25 million individuals that's came into the country. the sleeper cells come invade the rest of the states. Okay? I mean, if the UN's paying them, they're possibly those blue hats. What are we being set up for? I mean, Sean, what do you think about you military? What do you think about this? Do you put all your eggs in one basket? I can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No, it's like an echo.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Smoking a cigarette. But no,
Thank you, Andrew. I like you too.
you never put your eggs into one basket, man. Never. And I want to comment here on Mary's comment. Essentially, that's what we have to do. Let the military play it out, call the bluff, let them do what they need to do, and it's not about who comes out on top in this situation here, okay? Because either which way this goes, either they antagonize the Civil War, or we have our heads screwed on straight and don't give in to them and not cause the Civil War, because that's all they want. They want us to fight amongst ourselves, okay? The quickest way to conquer any nation or empire in history is to cause an uprising amongst the people first. Take away their guns, take away their form of protection, their food, their way of heating and cooling, and let them fight amongst themselves. That's how they think. That's how they've always thought. This has been going on for thousands of years. This isn't nothing new. We're just now seeing it in modern times. Okay? This isn't anything new. They have the same playbook. They keep playing it. It's like the Patriots going to the Super Bowl every year back in the early 2000s and in the 2010s, okay? It's the same shit. They play the same playbook. They don't ever change. So why give into it now? Because you got a few grifters and live streamers here telling you otherwise? Come on, man. Do your research. Look at what's in front of you. Look at what they're trying to do that you already see. It's right in front of your face. That's one of the ways the devil comes after you. He has to tell you what's going on in order to convict you of it. It's plain and simple.
The great deceiver. I mean, it's like you said, look over here, not over here. I got this pulled up here. I want to play this little clip for y'all, right? Okay. Right here. Let's get her.
Citizens of America
have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
I guess aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America.
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America.
The so-called Western forces of Texas and California
have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol.
Every instinct in me says this is death.
What?
Every time I survived a war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you?
You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Nice predictive programming, right? Do we have that link, Texas, the one for the where Biden says many times about the F-15s and the nukes?
Do you have that? I personally have not even seen that clip.
Look it up.
Juniper's gonna go look that up, Tom.
Uh,
Mary has a question, and
Mary has a question.
okay, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen so everybody can see. So, will the military stand with the president or we the people? Since I have 3 veterans in the room, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Thoughts? Who will the military stand with? The president or we the people?
Well, we were having this conversation earlier, me and Juniper and Sean, right? Because it has to do with like treason and unlawful orders. Okay. Because we were talking about the concept that there's this rumor that he's going to federalize the National Guard down there. Okay. So we all 3 swore an oath, and it's a lifetime oath. Matter of fact, I was reading something to Sean earlier about this stuff. Um, it's about the IRR, right? The irregular reserve. So this is how they've got us. Okay. Here's how they've got us by the balls. Okay. This is about full mobilization. Okay. And then I looked this up. And I read this to Sean earlier. So within the retired reserve, there are 3 mobilization categories on physical fitness. Okay. Um, Category 1, physical fitness and age and date of retirement. Category 1 includes those who are within 5 years of their retirement, under the age of 60, and not disabled. Okay. So they can call up anybody who is not disabled. So that'll be the first run, right? Category 2 includes those who are more than 5 years past their retirement date, younger than the age of 60, and not disabled. The third category, and this is under full mobilization, the third category covers all others, including the disabled and those older than 60. People in this category are evaluated case by case for recall during full mobilization. Okay? So if the shit goes down, all 3 of us are required to show up. Okay? And who knows? They may look at us and shit, they just might throw us out on, we're just a cannon fodder because we're the old farts. At least being Juniper here, we'll be the first one that in the front of the line, maybe. We don't need them anymore.
We're too damn old to run, so we just stand there and shoot.
We're gonna stand there and shoot. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I can still hit you quite a ways away. You know, it's like that one guy said about the hunting. You know, he said, "I wish I had that video. I could pull it up." He said, "You don't want nobody wants to mess with America." He said, "There's millions of hunters here in America, right?" And he said, "These hunters, they are masters. They are masters of camouflage, for one. Number two, they're all snipers."
I was gonna say, Tom, I just get in my tree and I got no problem sitting there all damn day long.
Hey, I sit there, my feet frozen and shivering. Hell, I sit there and just watch a movie. Look up. Oh, there it is.
So,
back to that question. Us as National Guard, we swore an oath to protect the Constitution. Okay? The Constitution. Not a government, but the Constitution. And for us to do an unlawful act would be considered the same as treason against you, the people. All right?
So didn't we just today, Tom, the Texas, the CBP formally sided with the Texas National Guard.
Right.
Okay. So they're under the direction of Dan Patrick today, which Sean brought up. Also, we discussed what if the military active duty went down. Because of the oath, we all discussed this today. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about this. We were literally sitting here talking about this because, you know, with Sean, he's younger, and I know he was in a different generation than what me and him was, me and Juniper was, and back in 2015, I want to say ish, and when I had my shop over there in Arcadia, we had a kid come in there, and he came in for a haircut, and he was sitting in there, and all this stuff was going on around about this Operation Jade Helm. Okay. And this is when, during that time, Obama had been basically removing a lot of people from the military. He was basically destroying our military. And I watched this captain that had just got his post, only had it for a couple weeks, and he was speaking to his company, telling them goodbye, that he was leaving. And the one thing he made certain to tell his troops was, if you were ever given an order, does not sit right in here, does not go with the Constitution, does not, and you feel it's an unlawful order, never, ever feel bad about standing down and not taking an unlawful order, because that is your job, is not to do an unlawful order. Okay? Now, there's a little bit of an area here, right? So, with the current situation and the current administration that's in the office, okay, we know what they're doing is committing treason. All right? Our job is to defend against foreign and domestic. foreign and domestic
Enemies.
enemies. So if you are an individual that is involved in treason, technically you are not considered a citizen of the United States anymore. The Constitution does not protect you anymore. Am I correct, guys?
You're right.
So the reality of it is, if you are committing crimes and treason against we the people, the Constitution does not, you are an enemy. And technically, back in the old days, you could literally be shot in the head. You would face a firing squad or be hanged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Those are facts. And it's been a long time. You know, what's that song? It's been a long time. You know what I mean? The old Johnny Cash one, right? Well, it's been a long time that these people have been committing treason against the people. All right? And I told Sean today, I was asking him because he's younger than I am, and he was in combat. I'm in facts right here. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I was never in combat. All I did was train people, training. That's all I did. Okay, and I helped train a lot of people that went. Um,
No combat here either.
the point is,
No combat here. It was peacetime. We were in the same time.
So the point, well, actually, I mean, when I got in is when we had that first conflict, and I volunteered to go to Iraq. That first deal where Saddam went into Kuwait and all that bullshit.
That was after me.
Right. I even transferred to a different unit because they said I was too valuable asset in training. And the Adjutant General of Texas, I saw the documents, you know, wavered me off the volunteer list because they were asking for volunteers who want to go because nobody wanted to go.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wanted to go back then. Nobody wanted to get no shit, you know. But I volunteered 9 times. 9 times. And I went to my CO and I said, "Sir, have you heard anything about me going to Iraq? Do you know when this is going to happen so I can get things together, get my stuff together that I got to get together?" And he goes in my file and he pulls it out. He says, "You're not going." And I said, "What do you mean I'm not going?" And he showed me that deal and I read down through it. And literally right there, the Adjutant General of Texas, right on there, wavering, right, you know, with my name on it, my rank and everything, has been wavered off the volunteer list because it's too valuable an asset in training. Well, I get pissed off. And I found a unit in Redmond, Oregon, all the way in Redmond, Oregon, and I transferred to that unit. They were gearing up to go, and they had M1 tanks. The unit I was in, we were still in the old M60A3 tanks. But I transferred up there. When I got there, it was 3 days later. 3 days later, after I got there, the ground war start, and 3 days later, the damn thing was over, and I didn't go. So, on that side of things, back to what I was saying before, what I was talking to Sean, because we were trying to think about this, because this kid that was in the shop that day getting his hair cut, he was in his uniform and everything, and I asked him a question. I said, "I have a question for you. is there, because we had all this stuff about this litmus test going around. And it was asked in this test, you were asked the question, if you were ordered to fire upon an American citizen, would you follow that order? And if you said no, they found a way to get you out of the military. And that was under the Obama administration.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, Sean?
Yep.
Okay, because he was in there. You were under Obama, right?
Unfortunately.
I had Reagan.
Okay.
What's that?
So
I had Reagan.
I would have rather been under Reagan.
Hey man, making peacetime great again.
Right?
So
you think I'm kidding? Motorpool was awesome.
Hey, I already texted you about the whole motor pool gig, all right?
A little different in the Air Force, and it's hard.
Well,
no, it's hard to get into
here's
security forces, my guy. You took the easy way out.
No. You don't just get into Motorpool. You got to work your ass off to get in there.
So the point is what me and Sean were asking, and I asked him today. So let's say you're in combat, right? And you were given an order to shoot the enemy, okay? To engage the enemy. Would you engage the enemy? Right? What'd you say, Sean?
You know, I really hate when you put me in these predicaments, Tom. I really do. Because I see where you're going with this. And
you were in combat.
Right.
You were in combat.
And if you have an enemy combatant, you return fire when fired upon. Okay? It's your standard operating procedures. Okay?
Right.
But when we're talking about, and unfortunately Mary's not on here anymore, so I'll answer this for everybody else, okay? Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me one. State troopers are over here arresting people for God only knows what reason. But anyway, so
it's one of them recreational reptiles.
yeah, probably. But,
you are in Arkansas, right?
Unfortunately. So, like I said, to answer this question for Mary, even though she's not on here anymore, we, by our oath, are to protect the citizens of the United States of America, period. Okay? There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. You do not fire upon American civilians. Okay? We take an oath to protect and defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that's without a doubt. Okay? But when the question comes down to, and this is a very hard question for me to answer because I've been hoping and praying for a very long time, essentially since 9/11, that I hoped and prayed it would never happen on American soil. Period. Okay? Unfortunately, now we're starting to see it. And my heart goes out to everybody in this country. Okay? Unfortunately, now we have to live through it. But if it's an enemy combatant, okay, as in I'm in the military and I am a part of an infantry unit or any other kind of cav, it doesn't matter. Okay? And somebody is firing upon me, whether or not I'm on the side of, in this scenario that we have, the Republic or the other regime, for that matter. If somebody is firing upon me, I have a duty to fire back. Okay? That is it. There are no gray areas in this. It is clearly black and white. So, for my feelings on all of this, okay, if I was in a command and this actually took place on our American soil, excuse me, I would not fire upon an American citizen. Period. Okay? The moment that you commit treason and you are no longer an American citizen and you can still fight back with our standard operating procedures, we ask you to identify yourself. We ask you to lay down your arms. Then we take you into questioning. Okay? We will arrest you, bring you in for questioning. Okay? And see what side you're on. That is our standard operating procedure, and that goes for Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait. It goes for any conflict that we've ever been in, period. Okay? And both of these guys on this panel can vouch for me on this. That is our standard operating procedure. It's our code of conduct. That's how we have to do things. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay? The only time that we have the green light to fire back is in that unfortunate circumstance that they want to fire back. So in this situation,
and UCMJ is universal, correct?
Right, absolutely. UCMJ doesn't just fall for us military guys or anybody who is active duty or reservists. It doesn't matter. Okay, if you commit a crime that falls under the UCMJ, and the UCMJ stands for the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Okay, so if you commit a war crime, that is to say that. Let's say you're somebody invading the country and you blow up a Capitol building or any kind of other political office, okay? That is a military crime. The UCMJ would kick in and you'd be arrested and tried in the UCMJ, holy crap, if I could talk, a UCMJ court. That's how that rolls out, okay? So like I said, if it came down to it, I already know what side I'm on, okay? And I'm on the side of the American people. But if you choose to pick up arms and fight against the good guys who are trying to save our country as we speak, that is treason. You are no longer an American citizen, you're an enemy combatant, and they will deal with you the way they see fit.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. But the other deal was too, we were discussing earlier, is the order, right?
Right.
So if you know that president that stuff is not, it's unlawful. We know what Joe Biden's doing is unlawful.
Right.
All right. Straight up. Any order coming from Joe Biden to do anything against, I guess I would say, a patriot, because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody in this country is not patriots. Okay. We have, like what was said about this one deal, somebody was talking about a communist NGO, okay, in California.
Right.
Right. There's one guy, we was watching that report last night, a communist NGO. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not patriots.
No.
The UN people, soldiers, are not patriots.
Right.
Anyone who does not believe in the Constitution and everybody's God-given rights, not constitutional rights, there's no such thing. It's God-given rights. They are not a patriot.
Tom, you want to take the posse comitatus right there? And Joe Biden can mess that all to hell. So you want to inform that?
I want y'all to maybe do a little bit of research on that right now. You might go do a little digging on this. I don't have it at my hands right now, but I do believe that that little thing has been removed.
So.
CA already gave the hint because in 1932, the military rolled into D.C. and wiped out all the people from World War I who were going to collect their promissory notes that the government never paid them. And they built all the shanties and everything else, and the U.S. government tore them down and ransacked, and there was death and everything else. They took care of it. So it has happened on American soil.
And here's a little difference here. There is another little difference here. the armed services. Okay. So this was what we were kind of gaining theory as in the day. This is what we do. We talk, and we're going over this stuff, and we're trying to figure out what is going on here. So we've heard that the possibility that Biden will send active military service to the border to remove
Give me 1 second.
the National Guard. Okay. We've heard rumors of this. So there you go, right? Did you swear that oath? Honor your oath. We know who said we were hearing on a special board. Honor your oath, right? Honor your oath. And there was another one said that asked, and everybody said they're trying to say, well, that was for General Flynn. I think it was to all of us. Police are outside your truck. The hell is police doing outside his truck? Does he have one of them recreational lizards out there?
All right, I'm back.
Leave them lizards
And I
outside.
heard that.
You leave them lizards outside.
Hey, man, I might be single now, but I don't mess with them lot lizards, buddy. I'm sorry. That's your department, all right? Hey, I've heard some stories about Air Force, all right? Don't lie.
So what did the police what did they want?
They didn't say nothing. When I turned off my video, my mic, they stopped in front of my truck with their blue lights on. The cop in the driver's seat started to get out, and he got back in his car, turned off his lights, and hauled ass. I have no idea. So.
Wow. Weird.
Texas,
yeah.
A really good point right here. So from the state of Florida, DeSantis sent the Texas State Guard, not National Guard. There are states with a state and a National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Every state has the ability to have two. There are a lot of states that have opted not to have the state guard. What that means, if the state guard is in Texas and Biden tries to federalize all National Guard, he can't touch state forces, period. So there's a state force in Florida. There's one in Arkansas. There's one in South Dakota. There's one in Alabama, Idaho. But Idaho's sending 5 groups of state troopers instead because they're doing training for all the drug trafficking and child and human trafficking. So that's what they're going down there to help with that specifically and be trained so they can go back to Idaho and train all of their officers in the state. And that'll trickle down through the sheriff's department and down to city PD, so it's statewide.
Right.
Idaho's got a good deal going there. But their main goal is to help with Texas. They can't do anything to state troopers. They can't do anything to DPS. They can't do anything to state forces. So know the difference. If you see a 5-star with a lollipop handle on it on a Texas soldier, that is a Texas state guardsman, not a National Guardsman. The ones at the border right now have the Alamo stripe, okay? It's a very, very sacred group among the National Guard, and they're the ones that are under the bridge. But like Tom and I and Sean talked today, they're locking down. I mean, literally on the river, it's a mile. On the road,
I thought it was like 2.5 miles.
2.5.
Huh?
But on the road, it's literally a mile. On the river, it's 2.5 that they have. Okay. You drive from the double bridges at the International Bridge, 0.5 miles on that video you showed, and the gates are wide open. So, I mean, they're bitching and pissing them off over this.
And there's no armed because a standoff, right? What's a standoff, guys? I'm pointing guns at you, you're pointing guns at me. That's the standoff.
Right. But
You
that's
know what I'm
what
saying?
but that's what they're trying to entice. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Make people angry to do some dumb shit and to get the rest of us thrown in jail for it or get in
That's
trouble
right.
for it in any way.
You don't need
So
civilians
I always
down there
want to
causing
bring it.
problems.
Because I played that clip earlier of that movie, so I want to pull this up real quick. Did you sent because I asked you to give me that link?
There's 3 separate in your
Listen.
Magazine. There's no need for any of that. And ban the number of bullets that go in a magazine. There's no need for any of that. I love my right-wing friends who talk about the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots. If you need to work about taking on the federal government, you need some F-15s. You don't need an AR-15. I'm serious. Think about it. And ban the number of bullets that go in a magazine. There's no need for any of that. I love my right-wing friends who talk about the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots. If you need to work about taking on the federal government, you need some F-15s. You don't need an AR-15. I'm serious. Think about it. And ban.
I mean, we're sitting here, and there's another clip out there where they got multiple times him saying that, different places. So it's kind of like what this is kind of like an implied threat. I got F-15s and on the other ones he said nuclear weapons and stuff like that. That's called an implied threat. If you come against the federal government, we got F-15s. I seen one the other day. How well? And what it was I think I sent it to you, Juniper, didn't I? Did I send it to you the other day, Juniper? That one where some lefty on there made a comment. Well, and it showed a picture of a bunch of patriots with flags and stuff like that. Kind of looked a little hicky, right? And the other picture was a drone. How well is your Civil War gonna go when we have these?
Yes, it should. Yeah, you sent that to me. Do you want it?
Yeah, I'll pull it up here.
Can I comment on that real quick before we show the video?
Go ahead. It's not a video, it's just a picture.
Or a picture.
Go ahead.
Joe Biden recently came out, I think it was last week, but it's almost Monday, so yeah, I think it was last week at some point in time he was giving a speech and his mic was still hot, saying that they're going to need F-15s and we'll send F-15s down to the border. That's a direct threat.
I want to say something to that, right? I don't know if that was real because we got so much AI stuff and everything else going on.
Right.
There was that you didn't see his face. It's just everybody sharing this thing, a hot mic.
Right.
We got to stop those cowboys. We got to bring in our military aged men.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we got to send F-16s or 15s down there.
Right.
This is the ways people take things out of context too. Is you'll hear a voiceover. I mean, there's apps out there that you can record a little bit of somebody's voice and their face and make it look like them are talking. There's a lot of that crap going around, and I'm so tired of it because that kind of messes up the whole thing about getting truth out because people are sharing bullshit. It's the same thing about this convoy. That's the reason why I'm pissed off because I don't know who started taking clips from the People's Convoy 2 years ago, right?
Right.
The People's Convoy and literally why are they trying to link the people? It's like we all know, we've discussed this before about dodging a bullet about the whole January 6 2.0 deal. Possibly. Okay? Possibly. I can't say because it never happened. You know what I'm saying? So I can't prove it, but I'm telling you there were bad actors there. I watched them. I watched them. I knew who was who. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. There was several of them that fooled me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, because that really rattled my damn brain that night when everything went down. Because those individuals left, they went off with Santa, and then they came back to the bus and literally was like at the bus, beating on the doors and yelling and screaming and ranting and antagonizing and all kinds of shit.
Right.
It was, and like I said, several of those individuals were people who claimed to be there January 6th too that was involved in that.
Right.
And now you got people or leads. Even I think that woman on that video with Taco Joe said that she was there at January 6th.
Mm.
Well, hell, most of the people that were there January 6th are still under investigation. They're still arresting people and everything else. How are these individuals keep getting in these other patriot movements?
But on the other thing,
You
Tom,
know,
is she said that she didn't know anybody from TPC, period, right? Well, her little flunky that's running the thing, Poppy, he
yeah,
was supposedly there for 3 weeks. Not that any of us ever saw him. Nobody
I
saw
never
him.
saw the guy.
Yeah, never saw that.
He's supposedly streaming and everything else. I don't know. Did anybody else see this Poppy guy? Because I don't know who he is. And then you've got the concept that this senator gets on, or this rep. I don't know if it's congressman or senator, what he is, but he's on Fox News saying the people who started the convoy out of California, okay, the people that started the convoy out of California a couple of years ago are the same people who's doing this convoy.
Right.
That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Why? Because think about it like this: if we severed ourselves where everybody couldn't be, because after that concept, when we split up that day, everybody, they've kept coming at us trying to suck us into it. I've been getting calls for the last freaking week since this convoy thing shit really started hitting the mainstream hot and heavy. I've had 4 or 5 people call me from the convoy that still have my number, and they're going, Tom, are you going to the convoy? Are you going in this new convoy? What convoy? Oh, the one going to the border. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't even know nothing about no convoy going to the border. And then all of a sudden I start seeing all this shit, right? And then when I start seeing the ones where they're using convoy and stuff, and I look at it, I'm like, I start recognizing the trucks in some of the videos, and then it flips to another clip, and then you see the people's home. Like, they're like, this is headed to the border right now, and I'm going, what the fuck? Why are they using video? What? Why are they trying to tie our names to this? Okay, because it's guilty by association. They didn't get to take us down the last time. Now they're trying to associate us with this one so they can still come after everybody. The Patriots, the freaking the all the truck drivers that was involved in it, everywhere we stayed, and all the people who donated, so they can seize all your accounts and they can take all your money, your property, and everything else for being linked to something, to terrorism. Okay, and that is one of the biggest red flags I've got about this whole damn thing. Why are they throwing around? Because I watched that Poppy yeah, I was in the People's Convoy and blah, 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 blah. And then you've got people that right now, because I don't know anybody who left, that was actual that went, all the people that I know right now that are going to this and going to be showing up in this is everyone that left with Santa in that group. Okay. Right now, that's the only individuals I know that are getting involved in this convoy. What about you, Jennifer?
That's it. Just the 1776 group.
Right? That we separated ourselves from to try to protect everybody.
Yep. Got everybody out and everybody back and away and severed it.
Because that's the same thing I told Mark. I got a text message over here when I seen that thing on freaking the Fox News deal. I was like, Marcus, you need to get, because he's one of the organizers, right? And he knows the other organizers. And I sent him that damn text. I was like, Marcus, you need to get our fucking names off of this. We don't need to. Why are they trying to suck us back in? Why are they trying to get us back involved in this fucking ordeal? Why are they using the People's Convoy's name in this deal? And I can tell you right now, that whole thing that was going on with the state, the USLA type deal, whatever, it was infiltrated as well. This UCLA and thing, because I was promoting that after the convoy, trying to help Lisa with it, and then when she started talking about the whole concept that this person's throwing a fit about going back to the convoy and supporting Santa and everything else, and then there were several of them that was doing the same thing. I was sitting there going, they're trying to suck you back into it. They didn't get you the first time, but if they can get us sucked back into that situation, if they can get us back into that trap, right, they can come after everybody again. That's the reason why I'm standing back. I don't trust this. I mean, it's leaving from Virginia, and that's the hub of the feds right there, where they all train, where their base camp is pretty much. I don't know. This don't pass the smell test to me.
That drone photo's in your DM.
Do what? That what? It's in my DM?
Yeah.
Boo, boo, boo. Oh, yeah, there it is. So this, oh, right here is what this person says. This is what they put up here. Let's be honest here. Who wins the fight?
That other picture they just showed with all the Confederate flags.
Yeah.
That guy right there in the black, that symbol was used by the KKK.
Which one?
That
one?
white cross with the red behind it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We're not involved in any of that shit right there.
No.
But it's like I said, what people don't understand is all it takes is one bad actor in this thing, just one, to be out there in the group of that people and fire upon a Fed. Okay? Or some of them people coming across the border. And guaranteed you, there's going to be live streamers going on, and it's all going to be caught on camera, and then it's going to be all over the fucking media. Or you could have I'll tell you what, you could have 30 or 40 feds in this deal. You could have 50, 60, be nice people. Somebody made the comment last night, I think it was last night, that one of her children's, I think it was her son's friend or whatever, was an FBI agent, and he looked like the town drunk. Okay?
Yeah.
You're expecting to see dudes in fucking suits and ties and the badge on and everything else. These motherfuckers joined biker gangs, tattooed up,
I guarantee you, the bunch of people with that in that picture with them flags are feds.
It was Brenda.
Yeah, it was Brenda.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Brenda Lee.
I mean, don't. I mean, if you do not believe this, you're either that this is possible after January 6th and the information. Let me find that. Trooper, can you find that clip for me for Clay Higgins interview? I'll play that again for everybody.
You want Tucker?
Yeah, the one with Tucker. Clay Higgins with Tucker.
Yep, hold on.
Yeah, if you want to, just drop it in this chat. I don't care. Either way. So, oh, Brenda Lee, she says it was me.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they've been in, you watch movies about it all the time. They're showing you what they do and how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're watching these movies, most of this shit is kind of based off shit. They're doing it. You think it's just a show. Look at all these things where you watch these FBI things and they're in the they're in the biker gangs, they're in all the militias and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason why I'm trying to, and they're going to be, anytime there's a protest, they're going to be there. More especially if you come into D.C. And I can guarantee you, definitely if you go to the UN building. Did you find it?
Type it on X on your side. Mine just went down. So yeah, definitely on my side. It's probably because my account's suspended, Tom, because it kicked me out of your deal earlier, and now it's down again.
Pause it. Seeing this.
It has been exactly 3 years since January 6th, the events of January 6th, the racist insurrection that shocked this nation to its core, more profoundly than anything since Pearl Harbor, plus the Civil War. And it has taken a while, honestly, even for people who aren't on the side of the professional liars, to realize there's something amiss about what happened that day. Not just the response, the largest law enforcement mobilization in the history of the United States. That was obviously disproportionate because it wasn't the worst riot that year, not even close. But the day itself, there was something about January 6th that didn't feel right. And hovering over that day has remained the question, to what extent was it a setup? And we still don't really know. But what's interesting is how few people have asked that entirely legitimate question. One of the very few, really one of the only in the United States Congress, is a member called Clay Higgins from Louisiana. And in case you haven't seen this clip, it's worth rewatching. This is from 2022 in a Homeland Security Committee hearing where he asked it just directly of the FBI director. Watch.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people, no, we did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol?
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my... decision
Ms.
not to share information
Director Ray,
about confidential human
gentleman's time has expired.
What a sleazy, repulsive little authoritarian liar Chris Wray is. That's obvious when you watch that tape. The sad part is so few tapes like that exist because so few have confronted him directly and asked questions to which the entire country has a right to know the answer, like that one. Clay Higgins did that. Congressman from Louisiana, Lafayette, joins us in studio. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tuck.
So that was over a year ago that you asked that question, which is a central question, and you asked it, as I think is appropriate, without any embarrassment at all on behalf of your constituents and the rest of the country. Are you any closer to the answer now?
Well, we're closer to being in a position where we can reveal the answers that we already have. Much of the evidence that we have compiled from investigative effort and over the course of the last couple of years, some offices like my own would have operated in silos of investigative endeavor, have now been able to come together now that we have a Republican majority and we have access to the staffs of the appropriate investigative committees. And so I sit on the oversight committee, and we Republicans run that committee now, and therefore we control the staff. So when you can magnify the efforts that individual members of Congress have pushed within our own offices, when you can magnify those efforts by the skill and the numbers of staff from the committees, you get a lot of evidence reviewed professionally and aligned and assembled into essentially a case file. And in this case, this is a big file because the involvement of certain actors, you could say deep state actors,